So, hello everyone, MeNoHaxor here, bringing you guys a commentary on Sona. I don't think I've done a Sona commentary in quite a few seasons now, just because she's fallen a little bit off the meta. She was not really buffed that much, and she kind of just stayed out of the loop while a lot of supports got buffs. But I think that she's at a really good spot right now. I think that she's the best Ardent Sensor user out of every support in the game, mostly because when you use your W, you can just tag everyone with your shield, and then everyone gets the buff for free, which is pretty good since it has the shortest cooldown of any shield applying spell of supports. So that's really good for Sona. And I think that our team comp really functions really well with Ardent Sensor because we have Master Yi, Azir, and Varus who all benefit very much from having extra attack speed. So I thought this would be a good game to try Sona, even against Soraka, who's one of Sona's worst matchups because I can't actually poke them in lane. So right now what we're going to do is that we're just going to try to look to shove. I'm trying to get to free poke on the Jhin and Soraka whenever I can, but I don't want to take too much harass because the Soraka Q is going to do a lot of work for her because I can't really trade when I take a Q like that. You can see I lost a trade pretty hard. There's a trade you don't want to take. So, and I also took that Azir bullet, which is really, really bad. So right now, our goal is to try to hit level 2 first, but it's kind of hard for me to walk up because I took that really bad trade. So this kind of have this butterfly effect where I can't really help my Varus push, and then they're going to get the level 2 first on us. I know they're going to jump on me, so I immediately ignite the Soraka, so that way she doesn't get as much heal. And then I know the Azir, or sorry, not the Azir, the Jhin is going to go on me, so I'm going to flash out. The Varus is going to flash for the Soraka, but we both end up dying, at least supports. So I get the first blood though with my Ignite tick, and then since the Varus has his passive up from getting an assist, he's going to attack really fast and drive the Jhin away. So I don't think that was that terrible of a trade for us, given that I took a really bad trade to begin with, so I'll take any 1-for-1. Plus, since all our summoners are down, that means that bot lane's going to be really susceptible to ganks, and we do have the better jungler for ganking, because we have a Zac and they have a Warwick, who's probably not going to gank us early. So immediately I'm already telling Zac, yo Zac, you should just come bot, ignore your blue buff, because you should get here right now, because the Jhin is still going to sit here, freezing the lane, because none of the supports are back yet. So Zac is just going to go ahead and come over, get a pretty easy gank off. He's going to jump in. Pretty dead Jhin right there. So that's really good for us. Now, Jin's going to miss a pretty big wave, and Varus is going to get a nice shove so he can back for free. Now, for my back, I didn't have much money, so I bought a Frostfang and a Control Ward. I think the Control Ward's probably the most important thing I need to get right now, because having this bush not warded is going to be really helpful for the future. So that way when the Zac comes to gank bot more, he can jump from here, which is going to be nice. And since there isn't really a point in me staying in lane since there's nothing to do, I'm just going to help the Zac, heal him up a little bit so he can jungle a little bit more safely. Then I'll go back to lane, get a little bit of EXP in this wave, since I'm a little bit behind in levels. So the lane's kind of reset at this point, which is nice. I know this is pinked because I checked Soraka's inventory and I saw that her pink ward disappeared. So I'm telling Zac to not walk into this bush, but you can probably walk right here and jump instead of going from here. So Soraka unfortunately gets a ward just before the Zac is about to gank. And what's really good about this Soraka ward is that since I have my pink in this bush, since I put my pink a little bit higher than normal, if you put the ward right here, I actually can't see it. If I maybe move my pink ward right about here, I should be able to see this ward. So that was a little bit of bad placement on my part, which is a bit unfortunate. But I also think that I generally put pink wards this high up because it gives me as much distance as possible to see if a jungler or mid laner is running down to gank. So that's why I put it a little bit higher instead of lower. Most people don't go for a ward like this. That's very not common in solo queue. But I don't know why the Soraka is walking up like this, because we're just going to run up to her and just kill her. Like, the Zac gets a really nice Q off. She's in a really bad spot because she has no flash, and then we just wreck her. So that was just really awful positioning. I don't know what she's doing, because she knew the Zac was here. You should just back up next time, if you know that the jungler's nearby. But now we're just going to look to dive the Varus, or not the Varus, the Jhin. And we got a really big wave coming up, so the Jhin just has to leave. He's going to miss a really big wave. And he's going to make a really greedy play here and try to stay, because he knows that the Zac has just left from that ward. So we're going to look to try to dive him. And when you're diving like this in a 1v2, you always want to make sure that as a support, you're going to be the one that's tanking the tower first and not your AD carry. So my goal right now is to just tank, take the first auto. I throw some spells off. I'm already starting to back out of the tower. not going to get hit by the Jin W, and I'm just going to walk straight out. I took as many tower shots as I could, so then Varus can also walk out, and then that was a pretty clean dive, and now the Jin missed another 2 waves, which is really bad for him. So we're off to a really nice snowballing start. The Warwick got a okay chunk on us, so we can't take the tower right now, which is a little bit too ambitious, but the Varus is very far ahead, so that's really good for us. And the Zac also got a couple assists, which is nice for him, because he's still ahead of the Warwick, even though the Warwick's been farming constantly. So I have about 800 gold. I'm going to go ahead and buy Sightstone immediately. The wards will be really useful for us, so instead of going to the bot lane immediately first, I'm going to go ahead and run mid. And the reason why is that I want to place my Sightstone wards before I go back bot, so that way if my mid laner needs help for an incoming gank, or if the mid laner, any mid laner is going to run down, I'll at least have some vision for us so we can see that. So I found a pink ward, so I'll clear it. And I'll go ahead and place one of my wards over on this side right here. This bush is really nice because if the Warwick ever wants to gank mid from this side of the map, especially since he started red first, then he's going to have to walk through this entrance. So this would be a good way to see the Warwick gank before it's too late. Now, I'm also going to place one of my wards in lane right here. This is good for us because since it's not really safe for me to get a ward in here right now, if the Warwick does come to lane gank us, this ward will be pretty sneaky and we'll be able to see the Warwick from a mile away. And now in terms of the lane, the wave is pushing towards us right now, so we're not looking to try to fight them right now. Instead, it's a lot more beneficial for me and Varus to sit here and just freeze the wave. So what we're going to do right now is we're just going to sit here, not trade too heavily since it's a Soraka, but we're just going to freeze the wave, keep denying more farm to the Jin. Like, the Jin actually just can't walk up for CS anymore, because if he does, then we're just going to chunk him out really hard. You can see the Soraka is also just trying to Q to get me to leave, but I'm just spacing myself really well. I'm not even going to try to go for Qs for poke, just zoning them out as much as I can. The Varus is also 6, so I'm just waiting for the Varus to hit 6, and then we're just going to go in, is our next game plan. Great, so Varus just hit 6. He gets a really nice ult off on the Jin. I'm going to go in for the all-in here. Flash, auto, ignite. Moving in between autos to try to get as much damage as I can. But the Jin flashing the E right there allowed him to live. And he used heal. So we got other summoners, which is pretty good for us. Trading my summoners for Jin summoners is definitely a really good trade for us. Now, this is really suspicious that they're still hitting us even though they've traded really low. So we know that the Warwick's coming. So we already start to run. This is really awkward since I can't really do much to save the Jin, or to save the Varus, so he has to just flash out. And I'm just trying to space myself away from him, because if the Warwick is going to go for the Fear, I have to be separate from him, so that way I also don't get CC'd. And at this point I realize he's kind of dead, so I'm just trying to make sure I don't stand next to him. And yeah, he just gets obliterated. There's really nothing I could do there, because I wasn't level 6. I did everything I could, and the Azir unfortunately couldn't follow the Senor roam, so we knew we were kind of dead once he started walking up. So that's a little bit of an overextension on our part. Not the worst thing in the world though, since we did get a lot of farm while we were denying the Jin, and we also got his summoner spells. So next time the Zac comes to gank, we should be able to kill him. I didn't get that much money, so I went ahead and bought boots and a fairy charm. Gonna start working towards Art Sensor already. I don't think I need to upgrade into the Sightstone Frostfang upgrade, because it's not really necessary for me. Eye of the Watchers is a good item, but I don't think I need that over Ardent Sensor right now, because as soon as Sona gets Ardent Sensor, she becomes one of the most powerful heroes in the game. So I'm just gonna save up my money for that. And now I'm gonna go ahead and kill this pink ward, just because there isn't really anything for me to do. I know the bot lane backed, and we get a free dragon since we know they were to be called. So this is a pretty good position for us. Lots of dragon, have lots of vision. Pretty nice. Ocean's really nice for Sona. So now I'm calling Zac to just gank bot. Gonna go ahead and clear this ward in the Tribush that I saw. And I don't know why the Zac is charging up all the way here. He could probably just walk up and start to charge, but that's okay. The Sona and Jin have been placing really good defensive wards, so we're gonna try to go for a dive here, but this is a little sketchy just because I don't have ult yet. So once again, I start tanking. We kind of do a little bit of split focus. I really think the Zac should have gone for the Jin because he has no summoners, but we kind of just split focus between the Jin and Soraka, which is really awful because, I mean, it's solo queue. and then Zac has to ult out. He gets Syndra ulted, not the biggest deal in the world. But Azir comes in, he gets a really nice Azir ultimate on all three, push them all the way back to us. We're going to try to kill them all right here. He takes a lot of turret shots, and unfortunately I misstep and also take a tower shot and die. So that kind of sucks. So that was a 2 for 2, which really shouldn't have happened given that we were man up in this spot. And now the Varus just kind of has to run because he is in a really bad spot. Fiora also just walked down from top lane, which I don't even know how she did that. So that was not the best trade in the world because the Fiora got a kill and now she's going to TP back up top. So yeah, not the best gank that was executed, but it was the thought that counts. I think that if we were able to pull it off, the killing the Jhin and Soraka under a tower would have taken the tower immediately, snowballed the game super hard. But even though we didn't get out off, it's okay. We can still try to make him come back. Zac, I don't know why he escaped when he's so low. I can't really save him. Perhaps if he used Smite on this blue buff to get the extra health, he could have lived. But he was suppressed for a while, so I'm not sure if he had enough time to do that. I'll go ahead and give that as your blue buff, and then go back bot, soak up some more experience. It was unfortunate that it wasn't 6 for that fight, because I just hit 6 off one creep. So it was, had it been 6 when Azir did that huge play bot, then might have been a big game changer. But it's okay. I see the Warwick, not going to mess with him. I know he doesn't have ult, but it's not a big deal for me to... It's not a good idea for me to go up to him when he can just run at me, so... Rather just play a little safe for now. Help the Varus push. Since we know the Jhin recalled, since the Soraka is playing so defensively, we're just going to go ahead and take the tower. We already lost top tower, but it's still good for us to take this bot tower, since now that we took the bot tower, we can afford to rotate around the map together. And so what you really have to do as bot lane, once you take the tower, you start walking around the map and start taking other objectives with your team. So I'm going to start running mid. I see that Zac is trying to mess with this Warwick right here. I'm going to try to zone at the Syndra instead of trying to go for the Warwick. I'm going to hang on to my ult. I'm going to go ahead and start clearing this pink ward. Now, as you're clearing pink wards with any support, you always want to be moving in between autos. Because by moving in between autos, I'm kind of confusing the Syndra on where I'm walking. Because Syndra thinks I'm going to walk back to the right for after I auto, so she Qs here, but I actually end up moving to the left. So, had I got Q'd there, I 100% would have died. Because one Q stun ult, I would be dead for Syndra. So it's really important that you always sidestep constantly as you're clearing vision. Now, the Fiora somehow got a kill on the Yi with the Azir there, so I'm just trying to run up, help the Azir kill the Fiora. Pretty sure the Fiora can't do anything to me. I just have to be very careful that the Fiora doesn't parry my ult. So I'm going to go ahead and throw out the Ignite first, so that way she doesn't parry my Ignite, because you can parry summoner spells. See the Soraka gives the ult, but it doesn't really matter. I just going to wait, get the free kill on her. Pretty easy. I was very patient with my ult there. You should always be really patient when you're like that, because if I mess up my ult, the Fiora's just going to live. So I hung onto my ult until the very last second. So I got a free kill, which is nice. So once again, working towards Ardent Sensor first. I already had my mobility boots for my last buy, which is really nice on Sona since you can walk around really fast. Especially since you're staying in the back line, you can pretty much stay at full movement speed and give your team buffs. Now, I'm going to go ahead and drop some deep vision. Once again, put another ward here, and then I'm just going to go ahead and stay around mid-top side. Since the Varus is going to take red buff and head top next, it's better for me to stay near the Varus because he's the strongest player on our map, and it's better for me to play around whoever's strongest on our team as opposed to playing bot-centric when we already took down the tower, we already took the dragon. Master Yi isn't that strong, so there isn't really a point in me staying with him. Rather give the Azir some support, and then if the Varus is going to go for the Fiora kill, I can help the Varus kill the Fiora. We can't really do much here. There isn't really a point engaging on her in the open like this. We haven't seen the Warwick just yet, so we actually just saw the Warwick over ward. So now we know that, okay, Fiora's by herself top, so we can probably go for a kill on her. We should be okay. That's why I'm playing very aggressively to kill this pink ward. And we're very confident that she doesn't have support up here. So now Varus and I decide we're just going to try to kill the Fiora. We're both just going to run up. I start speeding ourselves up. It's going to get a slow on her, but I accidentally misclicked when she parried. And then now we're just going to kite back and kill her. She actually ends up turning for me, so I have to flash here, because if she got my vital right here, I would have died. So it was perhaps maybe a bit too aggressive for me to walk up that close to her, but I needed to be the one that was soaking up the damage so the Varus doesn't die. So since we got that solo kill, now we can just go ahead and start pushing this top wave, and we can definitely get this tower. And meanwhile, we're telling our mid laner to just not die mid, because it's a 3v2, and as long as they can wave clear, we're going to get a really big advantage by taking this tower. So once again, transitioning from bot lane to top lane to take towers is almost certainly a really easy play to do, and a really game-winning play, because now it opens up so much of the map for us. Went ahead and recall, bought myself a Aether Wisp, and now I'm going to start working towards a Ardent Sensor. I'm almost done with it, which is really good timing. You should be able to have Ardent Sensor by around the 20-minute mark. And by this time, since we already took the top and bot tower, and we start grouping mid with my team, having Ardent Sensor is going to be really beneficial for us. So, in terms of vision, I go ahead and place my pink ward here. That's mostly because putting a pink ward in either this bush or this bush is always the best pink ward spot once you've reached mid game. Having, especially if the mid tier 1 tower hasn't fallen yet, having this vision right here is really good because it lets you kind of walk around from mid to either one of the side lanes without really being seen. And that's really good. That's really good just for your team in general. We see the Warwick, he took Dragon, he was taking Scuttle, but we decided to just chase him. We know he's by himself, so I'm gonna go ahead and just ult him. He does a really nice flash dodge to the Zac, but it doesn't really matter too much. We know he's flashless, so he's just gonna die once the Varus rotates. So now we can go ahead and push mid. The Varus sees the Jhin by himself, so the Varus is pinging the go on the Jhin. He's gonna flash ult, I believe. Yep. And then we're all just gonna jump on the Jhin. Kill secured. But it's kind of hard for us to push right now. I saw the Fiora appear with this, after she takes this at least. And so I'm kind of scared to face check, so I'm just going to put my last ward right outside this bush, because if she was standing in the bush waiting for me, and I walk up to ward this and she jumps at me with her ult, I definitely would have died, since I don't have my ult or anything. So I decided to just place a crappy ward, as opposed to getting the better vision over here, just so I can play safer. Now, I do have Ardent Sensor finished. Great. Now we're going to go ahead and group mid. Meanwhile, since my Varus is not here yet, I'm going to go ahead and reestablish vision control around topside. Don't see anything here. That's fine. I'm just going to stay around mid. Took up some experience, wait for the Varus to come back. I see Soraka's clearing this ward. Not a big deal. I'll just forfeit it. I can go ahead and use my other pink and clear this. Meanwhile, I'm just going to keep staying with my Varus. Once again, Varus is the strongest person in our team, and since I have Ardent Sensor, putting it on him makes him extremely strong, so there isn't really a point in me wandering to any other lane. It's a very babysitting playstyle, but I think that's how you have to play Sona. Now, they're going to jump on the Varus. I split for him, so that way I don't get Warwick ultied, and even though he's getting Warwick ultied, I'm going to go ahead and break the Warwick ult with my ult, and then immediately start walking up to tank the Jhin bullets. This way the Varus is as healthy as possible. I'm pretty much just throwing away my life, so that way the Varus can just wail on the Warwick. And the Warwick is actually going to die through all that Soraka healing, which is crazy, because the Varus just does so much damage with Ardent Sensor buffs. So even though I could have possibly tanked the Warwick ult for the Varus, I thought it was better for me just to split, and then that way I can retaliate the Warwick ult by throwing my ult on the Warwick ult. Now the Syndra also gets caught right here. She steps on over this ward, so we saw that she walked into this bush, and we're going to get a free kill on her. Didn't walk up too close to the Syndra because I don't want to get ulted, because I'm kind of at half health and I'll die. Now I'm going to get my team to group up mid. The Zac jumps on these two, but I don't think they're going to get anything here. That's okay though. Let's go ahead and push this lane with my team. I'm a little bit low on mana, but it's not too big of a deal. I have enough mana regen where I can cast W every time it's up, so that's all my team really needs, because that way, with Azir and Varus having Ardent Sensor buffs, they can keep pushing and fighting really well. Now the Varus just starts hitting the Jhin, so I guess I'll just turn with him. Gonna go ahead and throw an Ignite, start autoing with the Varus, and then we're gonna start taking the tower so that way the Varus doesn't have to walk out of tower range. We actually end up getting the Jhin as well through red buff and my Ignite. That was kind of nice. I'm not sure why the Jhin stayed under tower like that. But now I'm very so I'm gonna go ahead and recall. But first I see the Warwick just jumping on our Azir. I don't really know what's happening at this point. I feel like they're just kind of throwing the game. And then our Zac just goes in, loses his passive. We just killed the Warwick for free, so I guess that's cool. But now I really want to go back, because I'm actually I have a lot of money. We're in a really good spot now. Basically, by standing next to the Varus and just rotating with him to places on the map, we're just getting everything we get for free. Like, the enemies just can't really fight us anymore. Especially with so much protection on the Varus. Like, me standing next to Varus pretty much prevents them from hard engaging on him ever. So I went ahead and bought a tier and upgraded to Eye of the Watchers with my extra money. I think tier immediately after getting Art of Censor is really good because having tier essentially means that I'll never run out of mana, ever. So, gonna go ahead and start clearing out some vision top. I did see the Syndra was up here, so when I'm going to try to get a ward here, I'm not gonna walk immediately. I'm kind of just walking around in like a weird angle, so that way if in case the Syndra is there, I don't get stunned. Because once again, if I get stunned, I die. So I'm just playing around the Syndra really well, just making sure I'm always just sidestepping in really weird directions before I go ward. Because unlike other supports as Sona, you can't really face check a ward. Because if you do and the enemy's there, you're actually just dead. And you don't have any skills to throw. Like, with Karma, you can throw a Q into a bush to see if you hit someone. With Sona, you can't really do that. So you kind of have to find more creative ways to get vision. And so usually what I do is that I just kind of run around in a little circle before I place a ward, just in case someone's there. Now we're going to look to group mid. Once again, I'm very strong. I can pretty much always cast spells now, and I never run out of mana. So with the Varus, he's pretty much escorting me to get deep wards. So I'm going to place one ward here, one ward here. I could have maybe put this ward a little bit further to the left, right around the center of the bush. That would give us vision on this left side instead of just this area. So that was a little bit of a bad ward placement on my part. But having this deep vision is going to be really good for us, since if the Master Yi is going to be pushing bot against this Fiora, then having this deep vision will allow him to see if there's any incoming ganks. Now, I was going to help the Zac, but I immediately see the Varus is getting jumped on, so I'm just going to turn, help the Varus out. Gonna walk into a position where I can ult both the Warwick and the Jhin, like this. And Varus also sent out his ult at the same time as me, which is really good, because that way we kill the Warwick. Then right after my ult duration ends, the Jhin is going to get rooted, so that guy is just donezo. And then the Zac is going to jump in. We get another kill on Soraka, I think. Do we? Nah. She gets out. But now we're just going to go ahead and push mid. Pretty much going to be constantly spamming Q and W, just to give our team tons of buffs. We're just going to take things so fast. And now I'm picking for my team to go to Baron, since we know that their jungler's dead. This is a really good time for us to go. I'm surprised that Syndra didn't go for me. I guess she didn't want to die, because we would all just turn on her. So I'm just picking my team, go Baron. We do this so fast with Sona. Sona's like, it's actually crazy. Like, you can watch us do this. Like, we're actually just clobbering this thing super fast. It's literally dead. And we don't even have mountain breaks or anything. So yeah, the power of Sona with Ardent Censor and Q. You just give so much damage to your allies. You snowball the game so hard as Sona. So I went ahead. I'm going to start working towards a redemption now. I think going redemption after Ardent Censor is probably your best buy, because amplifying your healing and shields is really, really useful. And now we're going to look to push bot, because once we get this bot tower, we can start caving in, and we can also take dragon. So we got the dragon, and now we're just going to rotate bot, take this tier 1 tower, get some more gold for us. I don't know what the Z is doing, but he's just going to suicide, which I guess is okay. Whatever. Anyways, we got this tower. Now Jhin ults here. I'm not sure why he does this, because he's putting himself in a really awful spot since he's not standing still. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a flash crescendo on him. Actually land it, not Chowster. And then get a free kill on him. Escorting my team forward more. Just literally mashing my keyboard until we get all our kills. And that's pretty much the game. We're going to take this tower. Gonna push out bot. Take the Nexus towers. And yeah, it's pretty smooth. So I would say that the most important things that happened that game was that after our level 2 exchange bot where we all in, it was really important for me to just call our Zac to keep ganking bot over and over again, to abuse the fact that the enemy bot lane doesn't have summoner spells. And by doing that, we were able to establish a reasonable lead, and then once we had a big enough lead, the Verisand were able to just take tower on our own down here, then we rotated top to kill the Fiora, take the tower here, then we grouped mid, and then we took the tower again. And by playing around the strongest person on our map, we were able to snowball the game into a victory, especially even after we failed that gank, and the game was pretty even at that point. So it's really important to recognize like how to snowball your advantage and who to like who is your carry on the team, because I knew this Varus is gonna do really well since he had 5 kills really early on. So by just following him around and always protecting and peeling for him, we were pretty much able to win every single fight. So yeah, that's pretty much Sona. She's a pretty easy champ, a lot more interactive than Soraka, and I think that she's probably one of the best supports, mage supports at least, in terms of getting Ardent Sensor and protecting your team and buffing your team. So yeah, it was a really fun game. Hope you guys enjoyed this commentary after my pretty long hiatus of playing in ULOL, and yeah, hope to see you guys later.